if you don't mind, we have very special guests here on Radio Roll. The BC Lions cheer team. There you are, guys. Can you do a cheer for us?
How about that?
Down. Let's go, Lions!
I love it. I love it. Playing the foot of the Lions.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yes, it is. Hey. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Football Friday on the Game Plus Network and WQEE Radio. And for you lovely people streaming on YouTube, welcome to Canada's daytime sports talk show, the RP Show. It's episode number 1378. But more importantly, it's our second day from the Grey Cup, the most iconic sporting event in Canada annually. The 111th Grey Cup will be played Sunday here in Vancouver between the Toronto Argonauts and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We're not breaking from tradition other than, like, our guests are the same. Kevin, the medium, is here in place of Darren DuPont. That's different. How you doing, Kev?
I'm good. I'm good.
He's Kevin, the medium. He's not a fortune teller. He speaks to dead people, however. What are the football gods saying about Sunday's game?
I'm still going to stick with it. I'm still calling for the upset.
Okay.
Arbuckle.
I didn't ask you. I said the football gods. Those the dead people you talked. Not you.
You know that's not the way it works.
Okay.
Why do you keep doing that to me?
So this is how we break with tradition. We normally do the quick six show topics, the warm up. We talk about all the things in sports. But in our world right now, the biggest thing is this. As a matter of fact, I was on the South Florida Tribune Sports Exchange podcast last night talking about the Grey Cup, because as far as I'm concerned, it's the biggest thing going on in sports this weekend. Aside from the Stanley Cup final preview tomorrow with the Winnipeg Jets at the Florida Panthers. We'll maybe talk about that later. But Jim Barker's coming up in the next segment. He's here right now, getting ready, drinking coffee, ready to come on in the next segment. We've got Arash Madani from Sportsnet in hour 2. Riley Wuchar, the chairman of the Grey Cup Festival, sends his regards. He's bailed. Something has come up. I can't imagine what would be bigger than this show, but the chairman of the Grey Cup seems to be busy at Grey Cup.
Go figure.
And he said he can't get here. We got a lot of great comments coming in from the viewers, so hang on. Yesterday's show here live was I checked the ratings, our most viewed show of the year. Kevin thinks it's because of him. And I can't say that it's not.
They like the media.
I don't really know. I don't really know why that is. But so Reed Johnson from the Mark Cast, he's up from Seattle. I've invited him to fill Riley Wuchar's spot in hour 2. He may or may not do it, but Kevin and I can handle it. So that's it. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Tuna's in the chair today, I think.
How about that?
So it's all CFL and all Grey Cup today. So the number one, we're going to look back. Winnipeg Blue Bombers running back Brady Oliveira captured the George Reed Most Outstanding Player honor and was named top Canadian for a second straight year at the CFL Awards here in Vancouver. Saskatchewan's Roland Milligan Jr. won Outstanding Defensive Player. Edmonton's Nick Anderson won Rookie of the Year. Toronto's Ryan Hunter earned Top Lineman honors. Toronto returner Janarian Grant claimed the Special Teams Award. And Montreal's Jason Maas won Coach of the Year. I can't argue with too many of those other than you know what I've been saying for months. The campaign against Bo Levi Mitchell worked. Those at TSN saying he shouldn't win because his team missed a... You got your way. You swayed the voters.
How about
And the
that?
one thing was, as you know, last night, we were at Cardero's. Wonderful seafood place down on the water. I ran into a bunch of football guys. One of them coached Brady Oliveira at Oak Park High School in Winnipeg. He told me what a great guy he is. Obviously a fantastic player. He's a worthy winner. There's no doubt. So I don't want to take anything away from Brady Oliveira. We have a lot of Bomber fans tuned in today. But don't tell me Bo Levi Mitchell wasn't the best player in the CFL. And if you want to say it's because his team missed the playoffs, it's a regular season award. And his team let him down, and he should be published for that. Listen, I understand I think differently than most people. That's why I have a show, and most people don't. Bo Levi was robbed.
I can't disagree. And I'd love to, because I'm not a huge Bo fan. We've talked about it. But I honestly think he deserved to win. The other robbery tragedy that happened last night was White didn't win special teams.
Okay.
Only because I'm a Lions, what do you call me? Irrational fan.
You're an irrational fan, yes. Hey, what up? By the way, Joshua Dorr showed up from South Florida. He just can't get enough of the RP show. Hey, Joshua. He was also watching our South Florida Tribune show last night. I've infected everybody with Canadian Football League talk.
Love it.
But for our Florida hockey fans, my home, The Winnipeg Jets lost last night 4-1 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm not celebrating it, but I just want to say this. The Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Jets 4-1 last night. It was Winnipeg's first home loss. And the Florida Panthers got manhandled by the New Jersey Devils 6-2 in American Bank Arena. What that does is set up a Stanley Cup final Saturday night in Sunrise between Winnipeg and Florida, between two pissed-off hockey teams. But we're here to talk about the Canadian Football League. Aaron in Winnipeg writes in and says, Rod's suffering from sour grapes. No, I don't even like Bo. That's how strongly I feel that he should have won the most outstanding player honor. And again, it's voters can be swayed. I don't care, okay? It's a democracy. We just came through Remembrance Day. Those guys and gals fought and gave their lives to give us the freedom to vote on these things. I understand it went to a vote. What I'm saying is the voters were swayed by an anti-Bo campaign. Think I don't know how it works? I voted on these for decades. Now, having said all that, before we move on, I literally broke into a sweat. Did they turn the heat on in here?
I think so.
Or am I getting too worked up?
No, it was like 5 minutes ago. You could feel the heat starting to come on.
We are live, by the way, from the TELUS Family Zone. And hello to everybody across BC and Alberta watching us on TELUS Optic Television Channel 924. We're also on Rogers Shaw Cable Channel 230. That's in Western Canada. But I'll say this. I did not promote Saskatchewan's head coach, Corey Mace, as much, even though I thought he was for sure the deserving West Division Coach of the Year. He didn't win it. I just said Montreal's Jason Maas did. I want to get into the football talk deep with Jim Barker when he comes in next, but I feel Corey Mace in Saskatchewan took a team that had missed the playoffs for 2 straight years to hosting a playoff game.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about growth, it ain't even close. Corey Mace would win it in a romp. But Montreal was the #1 overall team, and Jason Maas did a masterful job at coaching. You understand, when we get down to the finalists, they're all worthy.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be finalists if they weren't worthy. So you got the East versus the West. It just comes down to, like you say, there is a campaign out there, whether we want to believe it or not, to say, let's put this guy over to this year.
Yeah. By the way, Shy in Regina writes it. He says, we have a bunch of Winnipeg Bomber fans here today. Why wouldn't they be? They're watching this show, and then they're getting ready for Winnipeg Sports Talk, which is right next door. We have their whole daytime covered. You guys in Saskatchewan should watch Winnipeg Sports Talk. It's very entertaining. But Montreal, just to go back on this, I feel had the best second-half team in the Canadian Football League this year. I was thinking about the stats versus analytics argument. I don't need to look at the stats. They come out and dominated in the second half and won games more than any other team because I was watching with my own eyes. I don't need to read the game notes or look at the stats. You know what I mean?
I get into this with Jake on our show. He loves to bring up stats, and I'm like, the only stat that matters, wins, losses. What else matters? Have you won? You could have all the other stats you want. Have you won the game? And they did.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in, and he says, Rider fans are losing their minds over Mace not winning. Sorry, 9-8-1 isn't great. Look, I tell it the way it is. That's why you all are here today, because you want to see what I have to say. If I didn't think Corey Mace should have won it, I wouldn't say it. But he did a better job of coaching from where they were to where they are than Jason Maas. And that's nothing against Jason Maas, because I really like him, too. That's why we have a vote to democracy, and I sound like a bunch of ticked-off liberals that didn't win the presidential election. I don't want to sound like that. I know. I went there. I'm sorry.
You went there.
I'm sweating and I'm
you went there.
Smelling toast. So that's the awards.
No.
So Kev and I were having coffee this morning overlooking the Pacific Ocean. God.
So you can't get bored of just staring out that window. We sit up at the Pan Pacific Hotel and stare out over the harbor. It's just so gorgeous.
We'll probably do it again tomorrow. No, I have an event in the morning. Sorry, I didn't tell you. Hour 1 is brought to you by Culligan. Drink clean, live green. Filter your water for a healthier tomorrow. Culligan Water of Regina. Visit CulliganRegina.com. So as we were having coffee this morning, he's telling me about his sister-in-law in Ontario, and I said, can we not visit for a while? I need to prep. That's what I said.
You did. And I was almost quiet.
Yeah, and I got ensconced in the game notes. And I forwarded the game notes to some friends because we love these things. And I said to you, it's not stats. It's stats, but it's not analytics. It's history. For instance, This is where I got hung up on this. I got stopped. I got reading in them. My eyes glazed over. This is the 8th all-time meeting. I go into John Lynch mode, John Frenzy, when I 8th all-time meeting between Toronto and Winnipeg in the Grey Cup, Canada's most iconic sporting event. It never said in there what the record is. Does anybody want to tell me what's happened in the prior 7? It wasn't in there. It's just this is the 8th all-time. What?
I want to say Toronto has the edge. I'm not sure what the last numbers are.
Somebody want to tell us? It was not in the game notes. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are in their 5th straight Grey Cup. They're the 4th team to do that. The others are the Edmonton Eskimos, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and the Regina Rough Riders from 1928 to 1932. Rider fans, stand up. 5 straight grade. They wouldn't have known what to do with themselves back then.
That's another stat we didn't look up.
By the way, we lost them all, I think.
Did we? That was the stat we didn't look up, and I meant to look up to see how many of those, when they've been in 5 straight, how many they won.
Edmonton won them all.
Edmonton, I know they won them all. That's the city of champions. I almost called them the other word. And, but I don't know I know what Winnipeg did.
What is the other word?
Champions.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Edmonton.
Come on, I've already got the Mafia mad at me. I can't start getting the Elks mad at me, too. They got horns.
Hey, listen. We got to check the analytics when this is all over because they'll probably say we're leading the way in Winnipeg. They're the #1 region for viewers today. Brad in Winnipeg writes in, he says, you say Bo was robbed. Well, Brady was robbed last year, so this is the CFL's way of righting a wrong. I like the way you did. You're saying I'm right, but you're also saying
you're wrong.
I'll take him saying I'm right. Thank you, Brad in Winnipeg. Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba writes in. He says, hi, Rod. The CFL Awards people got it right. Go Argos. He's in Steinbach, Manitoba, cheering for Toronto.
I like it.
But the awards come off well. They always do it tremendously well. It was streaming on CFL Plus. I don't know why TSN doesn't carry it, but another hill that I'm not willing to die on, CFL related.
TSN Plus also carried it.
Okay.
So for us up in Canada, we can't get CFL Plus in Canada.
Sharon writes in from Calgary, Alberta, and she says, spent a great evening at the Moose in Vancouver. Thinking of you guys. Where's the Moose in Vancouver? Because I feel like you and I have covered every square inch of this place, and I didn't know where we got lost a couple of times.
And I'm from here, but it's been like 20 plus years since I've driven around downtown Calgary, and or downtown Vancouver. It's a mess down here.
Kirk in Toronto, watching on the Game Plus television network, writes in, and he says 1.7 million people watched the Eastern Final, which outdrew the West Final at 1.4 million. Mr. Jim Barker, who wins the Grey Cup? He'll be with us next segment, so I'll put it to Jay. He's right here live at the table, so that's exciting. They're erecting a slide behind us. Live television, man. It doesn't get better.
All we need now is the Uproar ladies. That's the cheer team.
Oh, the BC Lions cheerleaders?
They're called the Uproars.
We had them yesterday.
We could have them 2 days in a row.
Yep. As I say, when you go to a CFL city for Grey Cup, if their host team isn't in it, ask them to come on your show because they have nothing else to do.
You got to stop saying that. They do have stuff to do.
Not really. Just make it look like it. Kevin from Cochrane, Alberta, writes in. He says, no, Kevin, it's the city of champignons. That's mushroom in French.
That's a good one.
How about that?
Shy in Regina says, Argos, go, go, go. From WQEE Radio, Ryan O'Radio is checked in. He says, RP Show, Atlanta's NHL, CFL, NFL show. Enjoying the coverage. That's from Ryan O'Radio. with whom I'll be seeing in 2 weeks' time as we drive through Atlanta on our way to Nashville. I'm going to be stopping in Atlanta, so watch for the photos. He's going to go to the radio station that carries this fine show on their fine radio station every single day, noon to 2 Eastern. The Radio Penitentiary airs every morning, 6 a.m. to 10. That's the name of his show, the Radio Penitentiary.
I have tuned in and listened to it. If you haven't tuned into that, tune in. It's a good show.
From Winnipeg, Chaster, he writes in, he says, CFL Plus works great in the U.S. if you're visiting. Oh, it's slick. But the Grey Cup on Sunday will be on CBS Sports Network. Just so you all know, for our U.S. viewers, it'll be on CBS Sports Network. I think I'm going to bring you back on for the the last segment, but last words for you.
You know what? It's funny. I was walking around the festival yesterday, and somebody told me Calgary started the CFL, or the Grey Cup Festival. Vancouver, I think they perfected it. It's going to be a hard one to follow.
Nice.
They have done such a superb job here. If you guys are in town, stop in. It is just a blast. So much free entertainment.
Charlie Dufo writes in and he says, hello, Kevin. Sorry I missed your podcast Wednesday. Cheers, old man.
Charlie is a big fan of the U Sports Podcast.
And by the way, John in Winnipeg, John says the Grey Cup will be on CTV nationally in Canada.
Oh, right.
I think they'll be setting a record for viewership. It was 9 million last year on cable. It could be double that this year. Legitimately could be double that this year on CTV. And I say, why don't you watch every weekend? But like we all do, but we're getting there. Okay, Kev, great job.
Excellent. Thank you,
CFL
sir.
on TSN's Jim Barker joins us next. Straight fire. That's his thing. Live from the Grey Cup Festival in Vancouver on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, live streaming on YouTube, and of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men without hats. And spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Event Center, Saturday, November 16th. Tickets on sale now at sastix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back to Grey Cup, everybody. Hey, as sports fans, there's nothing we love more than a comeback in the game against wrinkles, scars, and acne. It's never too late to revitalize your skin with Aliterra Naturals, aliterra.com.
Thank God.
Check them out. Use promo code RP20 for 20% off your first order. Jim Barker from CFL on TSN joins you. He is a big fan of Aliterra. It's worked. Miracles.
Oh, look at the guy. Keep the wrinkles out, baby.
Exactly. The star of the CFL on TSN is here. Everybody's giving kudos and congratulations to a wonderful broadcast last night.
It was a lot of fun. The show, Kate and Milt did a great job on it, and it was just it was well done, as it always is. And it was kind of there was a little bit of a faux pas in that. They did the bit with Bo Levi winning the comeback award. They created this comeback award, and then he came up like he won it, and really Eugene. It was all just a joke, and it got on Sports Center.
That's a mean prank.
It was kind of funny, but when you think about it going on Sports Center, because whoever did it must not have known that there's no comeback award in the CFL.
Wow. Well, okay. We might as well get into the Bo thing now. I don't know why I care so much, because I really don't like him, and he really doesn't like me, but I'd have voted for him. You've actually convinced me maybe why, and you've admitted you didn't vote for him.
No, and I'm sharing the panel with him on the field with James Duthie. We have a 3-person panel, and Bo will be with me, but I evaluate quarterbacks differently than other positions. You know, Brady Oliveira can run and catch and do all those things, and that's what he does. But a quarterback, the great quarterbacks I've been around, and Bo's a great quarterback, but the players around them, they bring their level up. And I just don't think you can say a guy is the most outstanding quarterback when his team doesn't make the playoffs, because that guy makes people around him better. And I think that happened the second half of the season. Now, obviously, Chris Jones coming in and helping that defense helped a lot, because there's not much you can do as a quarterback to help your defense. But you can, again, they had a lot of problems early in the year, and that caused them to not make it. But I just evaluate that position differently than I do any other, and that's why I voted for Brady. And again, he's an outstanding player. Last year, I thought Chad Kelly did exactly what a quarterback does. He brought the level of the players around him up when they went 16-2 in the regular season, and he deserved to win that award. This year, I felt like Brady deserved to win the award, and he won the Outstanding Canadian also.
There you go. I'm going to get to the viewer questions in a moment. Jim's been gracious enough. I'll keep you for 2 segments, if that's okay. And I'll get to your viewer questions in a moment. But it's a 10.5-point line. Winnipeg Blue Bombers favored over Toronto. I feel like it's scaring fans off, that it's not a sexy matchup. It's not expecting a tight game. How do you feel about this matchup?
Well, it's a very interesting matchup. I think in Nick Arbuckle, people think, well, we have a guy who has not been playing, but he has 25 starts in the league. Ryan Dinwiddie, when he did this in 2007, had 0 starts. So it was a totally different, that was his first start ever in the Grey Cup game. Nick Arbuckle has started big games before, so I think that he'll be a little better than what people think. Plus, he's got Ryan Dinwiddie, who I think is right now maybe the best play caller in the league. He's doing just a phenomenal job with giving his guys a chance doing what they do. I think it's going to be interesting to see if they dress Isaiah Cage this week, because I think running the ball becomes so critical for them. It's their defense is up against it tough. They're the number 2 run defense in the league, the Argos. So if they can stop Brady Oliveira, the problem is they number 1 in giving up big plays. And Kenny Lawler and Nick Dembski. Dembski I have picked for my anytime touchdown because I just think he's a tough matchup for them. They got Tunde Adeleke has moved up, and he and Mechie roll back and forth as to who's going to cover number 3, which is Dembski. And I like that matchup for Nick. And again, they have to stop the big play and they stop the run. If they can do those things, give them the intermediate passes. I think there's, Zach's going to throw a few interceptions if he's trying to throw a lot of intermediate passes. That's how they can stay in the game. And then offensively, I do believe they have to run the ball. And is our offensive line going to be able to handle the defensive front of Winnipeg? Again, they're one of the best running teams in the league, and they have, I think Deontay McMahon, Kadeem Carey's backup, Adeboboye. Those guys are solid players that give them a change-up, different kind of look. But I think that's a crucial part for them, which now takes a little of the pressure, because if they pressure Nick Arbuckle and he takes sacks and he's not getting comfortable, it's going to be a long, long day for the Argos. They have to be able to get into a rhythm.
There's your breakdown, everybody. That's the first, because you're going to be saying it a million times all weekend. The Bomb writes in from Toronto and says, ask Jim who the X-Factor player is for the Argos. He just mentioned a few. Jeff, the Stamps fan, wants to know if you've heard anything about who will fill the Stampeders coaching vacancies. Any buzz on that?
I have not heard one word coming out of Calgary. Obviously, there's a lot of rumors going around about BC and Edmonton. Have not heard one word about Calgary. So I'm sorry about that, but there just hasn't been any leaks about who's, obviously Dave Dickinson's going to hire his brother Craig as the special teams coach. But in terms of defense and what they're going to do there, haven't heard a word. I know Ottawa's now looking for a defensive coordinator. As they've let go of Baron Miles. You have Mark Washington out there. Again, does Orlando Steinauer want to go back to being an assistant? That you don't know. But there's some quality guys out there, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with these jobs.
Would you agree there are more quality coaches than there are jobs available? So they'll get somebody good.
He's going to get somebody good. And it's tough because when you don't work with people, it's hard to hire a guy. You just don't know exactly, how's he going to deal with the players, and is he going to be on the same page as me? And that's the difficult part. The hardest thing about hiring people is getting people that can fit into the things you're trying to do. And they can be in a situation that they're able to be themselves and excel at it, but in your system, maybe they can't. I've seen that happen numerous times. So hiring coaches is a difficult task. And when you let go of coaches, normally you have a real good idea what you're going to do. So obviously, I think Dave, with special teams, knew what he was going to do. But I'm sure in the back of his mind, he had a good clue of what he wanted to do with defense.
Robert Campbell in Las Vegas. Are we calling that your hometown?
Well, yeah, that's where my kids are.
Right, yeah, but he says, Bo is a great player, but I've never heard of a most outstanding player being benched during the season for poor play. I agree that Brady was the right choice for most outstanding player. It's a hot topic, and it's fun to discuss. I hope people don't get their feelings hurt, but you know what's going to happen no matter what. So I don't really care about that. The other fun discussion is the quarterback carousel. Ran into Vernon Adams Jr. the other night, and he is smiling like the butcher's dog, because I feel like he knows he's in a very good spot.
Well, again, it's right now, I'm not sure he knows where he's going to go.
No, he doesn't.
I don't think it's interesting because Rick Campbell has said they haven't made a decision, but Nathan Rourke says he knows where he's going to be.
Right.
And that those things don't match up. And again, Vernon Adams he's a great guy and a great person, and a guy that when he gets in and he's given a team, that he's proven what he can do. I think this year was just with the injury and Nathan Rourke coming in, It was such an anomaly. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Does Calgary go on him? Or do they put their eggs into DJ Walker and say, you know, we're going to go with a young guy. He's 30, but he has played a lot of football. They saw him for 2 weeks. He got a chance to see him in the film room and things. So do they go after him? What happens in Edmonton? I mean, there's a lot of talk about Rick Campbell leaving the BC Lions and going to Edmonton in both an administrative, a GM or whatever, head coach role. Is Vernon Adams a guy he's going to bring? I know Vernon has a lot of respect for Rick, and you know, that would give them a lead into that if they were to go that direction. So where VA is going to go is really interesting. I think the Montreal situation with Davis Alexander and Cody Fajardo, I think that's a really interesting situation because it's very difficult to have two guys. You know, it's like, can you pay one $300 and one $200 and then put $200,000 up for play time? Well, the problem is the players might have better options than that and not want to be into that situation because, you know, that's a tough deal. If you want to be able to be in a place where you're the guy. And will that happen for Davis Alexander? I go back to 2013 when we talked about it, when Kent Austin made just a gutty, ballsy move, and he basically cut Henry Burris to take on Zach Collaros. And that Zach Collaros has played a few more games than Davis Alexander, but they've shown very similar. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if somebody, Saskatchewan, Trevor's 38 years old. Do you stay with Trevor and continue to develop either a Shea Patterson or another young guy? Or do you say, you know what, we're going a different direction? Those are the kind of moves that, you know, can make and break you. They're difficult, tough things. They're great, like especially in Saskatchewan, Rod. Those fans can go nuts over that. What should we do?
They already are. They can. They are. But we don't have time in this segment. We'll carry it over into the next segment. But they're saying, the Rider fans, God bless them, I love them. They want two quarterbacks, Trevor Harris and the next guy. And it's like, it doesn't work like let's go get Trey Ford or let's acquire VA. No, the quarterbacks don't want that. Yeah, is what you're saying.
Well, I think it's what options do they have? So Trey Ford. So he right now, who knows who's going to be in Edmonton, but if they were to bring VA in, is Trey Ford going to go there and be behind VA, who's for sure starter? I doubt it. Does he think about a Saskatchewan where, wow, I could go in there and potentially I've got, you know, Trevor's going to be 39, and he had a phenomenal year. Don't get me wrong, Trevor had a great year, and I'm not saying they should move him. But what I'm saying is there comes a point, you know, Corey Mace is coming off of changing an entire organization and giving them a belief. If anybody can do that kind of a move, Corey Mace can do that. He could bring Trey Ford in and say he's going to be our guy, or he could bring Davis Alexander in and say he's going to be our guy, and that city's going to get behind him, and that team's going to get behind him. Or he can say, you know what, Trevor's our guy, and they're going to be behind that. And that's what Corey has created for himself, which I think is a great thing.
We have viewer questions to get to, and we do need to talk about the vacant commissioner's role upcoming. One more segment with Jim Barker after this. We're live from the 111th Grey Cup, broadcasting from the McLaren Custom Grills Radio Row on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
Into the holiday season with the Stars. Stars on Ice 2024 Holiday Tour. with figure skating icon Elvis Stoyko, Olympic medalist Caitlin Osmond, Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Poche, Keegan Messing, Satoko Miyahara, and more. Stars on Ice, coming to Moose Jaw Event Center December 20th. Unwrap your tickets at starsonice.ca.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Sports fans, sign up for the Rod Squad newsletter today. Second one drops this weekend ahead of the 111th Grey Cup. Stay ahead of the game with exclusive insights, updates, contests, betting tips from the Moose, exclusive content. Sign up for free today at rodpedersen.com. CFL on TSN, Jim Parker, gracious enough to stay with us for one more segment. And I'll get to the viewer questions, but your thoughts on the commissioner vacancy, if you don't mind, who the next one will be?
Actually, I had not heard anybody, Mike Morreale, who has done a great job with the elite basketball and has played in the league. And, you know, is he ready for that? And I think you made a great point. Is anybody ever ready for that? But Mike is a guy that I've heard his name. Neil Lumsden is a really interesting name. You know, he's the Minister of Sport in Ontario now, and he's political, which you have to be. I don't know about the sales side. I think that's a big part of that job, is trying to increase the value of the franchises. I honestly believe that was probably the ultimate, and for Randy Ambrosie he wasn't able to increase the value of the franchises. And so they need somebody who can forward think enough to be able to do that. And the league is as strong now as it's ever been because of great owners, and Randy Ambrosie needs to be applauded for that, because that this group of owners, they do it right. And Amar Doman with this Grey Cup setup is proving this is
awesome.
It's the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
And when you have great owners, these are the kind of things that happen.
I've said it on yesterday's program. This reminds me of last year's Super Bowl in Las Vegas. All of the setup, and that's where I met your beautiful daughter, Holly. Did she mention that?
That's right. I still have the picture. Yeah.
A story for another time. She's a pit boss at the Bellagio.
Yeah.
And she goes, what can I help you with here this week? Did she tell you this?
No.
I said, I don't drink, I don't gamble, and I don't carouse. You should just in her face. She's like, what are you doing here? I'm here for a football game. And so she was like, I can't really help you. It was fun. Thank you for the hookup.
Yeah.
Great gal. Where is it? Rob in Vegas asks if you'd be interested in the commissioner's job.
You know, that is a job I can tell you unequivocally I would have zero interest in being the commissioner. That's just not, it's just not something that I haven't. I don't know that I'd be very good at it, and I wouldn't enjoy it, I don't think. So not something I would have an interest in.
Paul in Humboldt, Saskatchewan says, if the Bombers win, does Zach Collaros retire? If the Argos win, does Arbuckle become the next hot quarterback everyone wants?
Well, Arbuckle can certainly help himself. Zach, I think, is going to play one more year regardless of whether he wins or loses. We were talking this morning, TSN guys up in the breakfast room, about this game for Zach. You know, he's lost 2 in a row, and to go to 5 Grey Cups in a row is special. But if you lose the last 3 of them, it kind of tarnishes things. I think Zach for sure will be back next year because the Grey Cup's in Winnipeg. And I think that's something that he feels... I know he feels an affinity for those Winnipeg fans and wants to bring them a special Grey Cup. So I do believe he'll be back for sure next year, regardless of what happens. I believe he's probably under more pressure than anybody in this Grey Cup game because of the legacy. I mean, yeah, getting there 5 times is great, but when you lose the last 3, there's a lot of pressure on him, and I know in 22 when I was in Toronto and we beat them, he had a bad ankle, and again, people forget about that stuff. I mean, he could barely walk on it, and I thought he played valiantly, and again, they didn't win, and it just goes down as a loss, and that's one of the sad things is a guy guts it up and, like I say, plays valiant, doesn't win, and that's all it does. It's just another loss.
Well, why would he retire? He's the highest paid player in the league, which nobody talks about, but last I checked, he is. He's playing the game that he loves in a fantastic environment.
Right.
Why would he walk away?
And he's a football player.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes back to Steubenville, Ohio, and 61-1 in high school, and he loves playing football.
Right.
And I would be stunned. I know that his health is important to him, but he's been 5 years now. Knock on wood. Who would have ever thought that he would have lasted 5 years without missing a significant amount of time? He's missed a game here and a game there, but has not missed a significant amount of time. And there's a lot to be said for that. And I'm so happy for Zach that he got away from that concussion stuff. And again, it's a great story. That to me is one of the great stories of this Grey Cup.
We're watching one of the greatest stories in CFL history that is Zach Collaros. It's unfolded over the last 5 years, Jim, to be written off. He was written off by me. I don't mind saying it, because when we had him in Saskatchewan, he couldn't play.
The first game, Simone Lawrence, we're playing you. I was in Hamilton in 2019, and Simone Lawrence came along and hit him, and he was gone.
That was the end of it.
And I thought his career would be over. I really did. I mean, when you start dealing with the head, and, you know, Zach's got a family, a beautiful wife, great kids, and I know that's important to him, but, you know, he was able to get the proper treatment. Sylvia Passmore from a doctor who I also go to in Toronto.
She's a miracle worker.
She is a miracle worker. She absolutely is. And she helped him a lot with the whole concussion thing. And again, he hasn't had an issue with it since then. So I love watching the Zach Calero story. To me, it's one of the great stories in the
He's
CFL.
a great guy. He doesn't suffer fools. I enjoy that part of him. He can be mean and prickly, but guess what? So can I, and I bet you could be too on the wrong day.
I am. No, most days I am.
Herb in Melville writes it. He says, Jim should be the next commissioner. He's so passionate about the league. We just addressed that, but what I will say is I do believe you're in the perfect role. And I'll tell you what, at a good time, because 9 million people watched the Grey Cup last year on TSN. This year you're on CTV. That should be exponentially more.
Could be. And with CBS in the U.S., it's a great opportunity. And I do love what I'm doing right now. I mean, this is to be able to share with a fan base like you have. I mean, to have the people sending questions in and things. I do love this league. I mean, this league is. It's professionally everything to me, and I had opportunities to go. This league. I love watching it grow, but yeah, this is the kind of job where I can relate to fans from a view. Not many people have been coach, general manager. I mean, I started as an assistant coach, worked my way up to being a senior VP. So I've seen things from every level, and understanding the contract things and the things players go through can give our fans a different look at things, and that I enjoy being able to do that.
Well, see, I'll say this. I love going back and forth with the fans, too. For years, for decades, it was Rider fans, but now it's CFL fans across the country. Not a lot of media guys do. I don't know if it scares them or if they're afraid to not have the answer. I don't care. I'm a licensed interventionist and addiction recovery coach. I'm doing interventions on meth addicts and alcoholics and drugs. I can talk to a CFL fan. You know what I mean? It's nothing. It's fun. It should be fun, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and you're in the perfect role, and I believe I am, too. It's a great association.
Yes, it is.
All right,
it is.
Coach.
Thanks, Rod.
Thanks
I really
for coming
appreciate everything you've done for me and helping me get my message out, because that's what it's all about, being able to get your message out, and you've done that.
Feels good.
And I really appreciate it.
Break a leg this afternoon.
Well, this afternoon we have the luncheon.
Right.
Tomorrow, 4 hours on TSN of Grey Cup Saturday.
There you go, everybody.
4 hours, and then we have a 3-hour pregame show prior to the kickoff. It's just a lot of football.
He's the man. Okay, we'll be right back with a sports update, believe it or not. Arash Madani in hour 2, and I think Reed Johnson from the Markcast. We're live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, live streaming on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
Beautiful.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult, because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902 518 3033.
Mo.
The moustache is calling. Raise funds, save lives. Donate at Movember.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
All right, everybody, the studio is the 111th Grey Cup. Don't mind the mess. They're setting up the festival behind us, the TELUS Family Zone. It has a Super Bowl feel, and some cases even better. Actually, some of the things that I didn't see there. So anybody across BC, shoot, across Canada, there's still a few tickets left for the game. You're going to want to be here. What are they calling it? All roars lead to this. The 111th Grey Cup. A couple of quick text messages before we get to a sports update and a reminder there are other sports going on. Neil in Winnipeg writes in on the Alaterra Skincare text line. He says, how about Bombers CEO Wade Miller for commissioner? I was initially dismissing that, but I have heard it so much, primarily from fans, that there's got to be something to it. As John Lynch would say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I got just the guy to answer that question, Arash Madani from Sportsnet, coming up next hour. We'll get into it with Arash. He used to work for the Bombers. He'd know. Or he'd know better than I would. Jim in Balgoni Sask writes in and he says, people hate Zach Collaros because he's a winner and a good guy. Haters gonna hate. I don't know who really does hate him. You know, I misspoke last week when I said Rider fans never liked him. They never took to him. Can we agree on that? They never took to Zach Collaros when he was with the Riders, and as Rider fans have said to me, he wasn't available to play. That also is not incorrect. Okay, the aforementioned and promised sports update. Darnell Nurse had 2 goals and an assist. Connor McDavid had a goal and an assist to reach the 1,000 mark in his NHL career, and the Edmonton Oilers won their 3rd game in a row with a 3-2 victory over Nashville. Rookie Jonathan Lekermacki scored his first career NHL goal, but the Vancouver Canucks home ice woes continued as they fell 5-2 to the New York Islanders here last night in Van. Kirill Kaprizov had an empty net goal and an assist. Philip Gustafsson made 19 saves for his first shutout. And the Minnesota Wild beat the Montreal Canadiens 3-0. Tampa Bay Lightning handing the Winnipeg Jets their first road loss of the season, 4-1 last night. And the Florida Panthers falling 6-2 at home to New Jersey. Panthers meet the Jets Saturday night at Amerint Bank Arena. I would love to be there, but I'm also planning to be at the Connor Bedard return game here Saturday night, Chicago Blackhawks at Vancouver Canucks. More hockey in a moment, but first, Saquon Barkley ran for 146 yards and 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, and the Philadelphia Eagles stretched their lead in the NFC East with a 26-18 win over the Washington Commanders. Can we say they are who we thought they were? The Commanders. Jalen Hurts ran for the go-ahead touchdown for Philly after he was evaluated for a concussion following a hard hit in the second quarter. The Eagles won their 6th straight, cinched their bye to improve to 8-2. Washington fell to 7-4 with its 2nd straight loss. Tonight, the Calgary Flames host the Nashville Predators in one of 5 games in the NHL. Calgary has lost 3 of its last 4, while the Preds are coming off that loss at Edmonton. Elsewhere tonight, Utah hosts Vegas. Pittsburgh is at Columbus. Washington visits Colorado, and Anaheim is home to Detroit. And in NBA action, I don't know why I'm gravitating towards the NBA. It just is happening. It's taking me over. The Toronto Raptors look to snap a 5-game slide as they host the Detroit Pistons. Raps are back at Scotiabank Arena after dropping all 5 games on a West Coast roadie. Tonight's game is part of the NBA Cup, which none of us really understand. Hockey teams and fans, have you been to Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary yet to improve your game or just have fun? With state-of-the-art equipment, spacious shooting lanes, and games for all ages, Overtime Hockey Lanes is the perfect destination to build teams, whether they're from the Calgary area or if you're on a road trip from out of town. Book your lanes today, 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. What do we got here from the audience? Shy in Regina says the Riders were geared up for Zach Caleros, and he didn't show up. What a bust. But Shy, he'll be laughing at you playing in his 5th consecutive Grey Cup here on Sunday. I get where you're coming from, though. Patrolman Pete says, I refuse to share Wade Miller with the rest of the CFL. Remo, do you think he'll be the next commissioner? What do you know? He says no. It's an immediate no from Remo.
How about that?
From Winnipeg Sports Talk. He's right beside me. Trust me. He doesn't have any insight, though. It's just a feeling you have. Okay. From Michael Remus from Winnipeg Sports Talk. He's the brains behind the whole outfit. Hustlers the looks.
Oh,
you know that. Of course. Okay. We're going to get into it all with Arash Madani coming up right after this break here on Game Plus. Hour 2 coming up from the 111th Grey Cup in Vancouver.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902 518 3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, you're not going to believe this, everybody. Come on in. I was hoping this would come on in here, guys. If you don't mind, we have very special guests here on Radio Roll for the BC Lions cheer team. There you are, guys. Can you do a cheer for us?
How about that?
Down.
Let's go, Lions!
I love it. I love it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, Canada and CFL fans in the United States. How about that? Welcome to hour 2 of a Football Friday. We brought out all the heavy hitters today. CFL on TSN's Jim Barker, now Sportsnet's peerless Arash Madani, joining us at our broadcast location at the 111th Grey Cup. How you doing, sir?
I'm great. It is cool to see how the sausage is made. I think I'm going to do this for the socials. Just to...
Oh, my God. Yeah, so longtime friends here, CFL guys. I think I'm right in saying Jim Barker's like, this is smaller than I thought. Didn't you say that, Jim? This here. You're like, I expected a bigger deal. What can I say? Ta-da! Live on Game Plus television. And Clark says, we're modest. WQEE Radio in Atlanta. We are Atlanta's CFL, NHL, NFL show. Happy Grey Cup week, sir.
Happy Grey Cup week to you.
You having a blast?
I am. It's Friday, and I'm ready for a football to go on the tee, because usually by this time of the week, it doesn't matter, excuse me, if it's the championship game south of the border or up here. After 5 days of talking about it, I'm ready to see some football.
It does get to be long.
Yeah, I'm ready to see some football, and especially this one, because there's so many different ways this game can go.
Well, take us down some of those roads.
So if Chad Kelly were playing, my prediction for Grey Cup MVP was going to be Janarian Grant.
The return guy.
Who just keeps returning balls into the end zone. Janarian Grant, the former Bomber who Winnipeg didn't re-sign this offseason. How delicious would that be?
Good story, yep.
I'm interested to see against a 3-man front how the Argos will run the football with Kadeem Carey. Because I talked to some people, and the word they used for Willie Jefferson was diva. Like somebody who doesn't want to get the fingernails dirty because he just got the manicured.
Who said that?
Well, I can't tell you that.
Sorry, continue.
Nick Arbuckle.
The backup, the starting quarterback for the Toronto Argonauts.
The starting quarterback in the Grey Cup for the Toronto Argonauts, who for the first 100 days of the 2024 season, starting in free agency, was unemployed. Who didn't even have a job until the second week of training camp and only got signed by the Argos because of the Chad Kelly suspension. And now the guy that nobody wanted, literally, across the league, is starting in the CFL's championship game.
It's a hell of a story.
It's a hell of a story. And Zach, who's been bad in 3 straight Grey Cups, but probably played his best playoff game of his career last week. What does Zach have in store? I mean, there's just so much to it. That's why I want to see football.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I'm kind of sitting here going, people are saying it's not a great matchup. You just given 4, 5, 6 stories of why it is.
Sure.
Right? Sure. And it always is. You don't have to dig too far to get good storylines.
And Roddy, in all that, we didn't mention the guy who's the most outstanding player in the league, who, oh, by the way, also happens to be the best Canadian in the league, who, oh, by the way, just happens to be from Winnipeg, and his entire Blue Bomber career has been to a Grey Cup every single season.
Yeah, it's interesting. Have you read the game notes yet?
No.
I feel like you don't need to.
Yeah.
You got them all. But you say, Willie Jefferson's in his 6th Grey Cup. Like it's no big deal. That's a big deal. But a lot of them are in a lot of Grey Cups. You know what I mean? This is I wrote it down. They're the 4th team to appear in 5 straight.
Yeah, like Tavares Daniels of the Argos, going back to his Calgary days, he's in his 5th Grey Cup in 8 years. You know, the reason he came to Toronto is because in 2018, the year the Stamps won, Dave Dickinson made him a healthy scratch.
Ted in Red Deer writes in, he says, Willie Jefferson is a monster, not a diva.
Yeah.
I agree, dude. Like, I'm a Willie guy, and he knows
Was
that.
it Ted? Ted, not my words.
Yeah.
This was some of the Argo offensive guys were telling me.
Most outstanding defensive player. Fresh as the day is long. Won a Grey Cup with Edmonton before coming to Winnipeg, and with a little pit stop in Sask, where they have not been able to find a way to win to the degree that Winnipeg has, their arch rival, which, speaking of, you're a Bomber guy, or are you a Renegade guy? What? You're a CFL guy.
I'm a CFL guy.
Okay.
I root for the success of Ottawa as a business because I had a front row seat to the second of the 2 times they folded. I still have some friends in Winnipeg. They're trainers, they're equipment guy, they're PR guy. So you kind of like, it's great to see them all the time. But honestly, Roddy, like, and I know this sounds stupid, I honestly root for good football. And I'm really, really intrigued to see how Toronto is going to approach this game with Arbuckle at quarterback. Like, I'm led to believe that in a regular game week, the Argos on their game plan have about 70 to 75 plays. I bet you that number's down to like 40 or 45 this week.
Oh, yeah.
Just to scale back what's going on in Arbuckle's head and just try and keep it as efficient. I don't want to call it simple, as efficient and as smart as they can.
Arbuckle can spin it. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You think he can do this?
Well, look, I do for a couple of reasons. One, and people got on me on social media about this, I think the Argos have the most explosive receiving core in the league. I look at Coxie, I look at Polk. I think these guys are home run hitters. You know, they're the explosive guys, etc. Tavares Daniels is so smart. You know, they got the young little slot receiver who reminds you of a poor man's Ben Cahoon, and they're able to run the football. Like, I think that if the Argos win this game, it's going to be one of those scenarios where they're going to have long, multiple play drives that eats up a lot of clock. I think that's the way they're going to have to do it. Like, let's compare leagues, but like, you know me, I'm a Vikes guy. The Vikes won 12-7 last week in Jacksonville. The time of possession was over 42 minutes for Minnesota. That's the kind of game the Argos have to play to win this thing. It's not necessarily having to force something that's not there. It's taking what's in front of you and going with it. And if Arbuckle does that, I think they'll be okay.
Pausing the proceedings for a second. Remo, our viewers, Matt Hyman would like you to go down the slide. Everybody's asking? If you do, can you let me know within the next 45 minutes? He says he might have to. We have a possibility of Michael Remis going down the slide. So I'll let you know. You let me know, okay? I'm on live.
Yeah.
And our viewers are asking you, Remo, the producer of Winnipeg Sports Talk. Speaking of Winnipeg, this Wade Miller for commissioner stuff. You're hearing it from the fans mostly. You think there's any chance?
The honest question is, honest answer is I don't know. I don't know what the Board of Governors wants in that chair. Obviously, Wade knows how the sausage is made when they all get together. I will tell you this. One of the names that the governors apparently, somebody approached, and this is what gives me a little worry, Rod. The governors approached David Hopkinson about his interest in being commissioner. Now, for those of you who may not know who David Hopkinson is, he was a senior guy at MLSE back in the day, went over the pond and ran Real Madrid, then went to New York and ran Madison Square Garden and the Knicks and the Rangers. Like, would you like one fewer comma on your paycheck? So there's the predictable delusion from the governors in terms of what this job is from which candidate may want it. But I don't know. I've heard rumblings of Wade, but I don't know how far down the road they are with that.
He wasn't president when you were there.
No, he had just recently retired as a player.
Could you see him as commissioner? He's not warm and fuzzy. Mind you, who is in the commissioner's role? The good ones.
Yeah, I don't like... Okay, so what are the issues right now that the commissioner needs to handle immediately? The number one thing is the media rights deal.
I was going to say that, yep.
Right? We're a couple of years away from something having to get done. And that's where the majority of the cake is. I would want somebody in that chair who has a real idea, because that's the number one revenue generator and revenue driver of this league overall. That the next commissioner needs to have real expertise in that field. That's what I'd say.
Can we talk about something fun that it never gets talked about? CFL jumping into bed with TSN solely in 2008.
Yeah.
How did that affect things at your network?
I don't know. I wasn't there then. I came over a couple of years later. I'm of the belief that no matter what you're doing as a league, you have to distribute your rights, not evenly, but you have to distribute them to give a vested interest in other media entities, etc., being part of your league. And also, it'll just drive up more revenue. There is no league on earth that is exclusive to one broadcaster, except this one. And that does not allow the whole thing to grow.
I thought it was short-sighted at the time. I'm quite often told I don't know what I'm talking about.
That makes two of us.
Right.
Probably why we're sitting next to each other right now. Yeah.
Exactly. But I'm like, if you watch the Vince McMahon documentary, heat sells. Heat is interest. Heat is buzz. And I keep hearing, that can't be done, Rod. That can't be done. The NFL does all these things.
It's not just that, Rod. There's so many of them at all. So many of them are so thin-skinned that they don't understand they're in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
That sizzle sells. They get their back up. They're offended. They take it personally. They try and eliminate and remove people who offer criticism. Don't they?
I wouldn't know.
You're right. They're clueless to what the business of football is, the business of sport is, the business of entertainment is. They're so caught up in themselves and not the greater good, and that's what ends up happening.
Do you think the NFL sees itself as a football league or an entertainment entity?
Oh, God, it's an entertainment entity.
Okay,
oh,
I'm just asking you.
So think of how much noise goes on in the NFL offseason.
Every day.
All the time. It's the number one topic during when it's opening day in baseball. We're talking about the NFL draft.
Oh, yeah.
Right? When it's the conference finals in basketball and hockey, we're talking about mini camps opening. When on the eve of March Madness, when conference championships are going on, we're talking about the opening of free agency. We are so far removed at that point from playing the game, and yet football remains the number one topic. And the audience reflects it. Of the 100 most watched events on television, including Olympic years, around 90 are football. And that includes
NFL games.
And college. And that includes elections, the Oscars,
everything.
The rest.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, you know yourself, there was a period of time. And look, oddly enough, whether it's odd or not, or rash, these CFL shows that we do at Grey Cup are our most viewed. I know where my bread is buttered with the RP show.
Yeah.
That's why we do the things that we do. But there was a time under past commissioners that they wanted, wanted to go dark for 6 months. I heard, I was in meetings where they said that. I'm like, you want to do what? And it's fatally injured them. Well, critically injured them.
No, but even Ambrosi, they had a good thing with CFL week, right, in the offseason, and then they cancel it.
Costs money, Rod.
Okay, go find partners.
I know. So my point is, for the next 6 months, I'd love to talk CFL, but not all the viewers want that. There's hockey. There's other things going on.
Yeah. No,
I'll get you to lean up to the microphone if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
The fans are going to want to know You don't like to do predictions, though, do you? For the game, for this game, Sunday.
No, I mean, I can just see it going in so many different... Here's the one prediction for those who like to sprinkle in investment opportunities, that's what I like to call it. The Winnipeg team total of 30.5. The game total's around 50.5, 51, depending on where you're looking at it. The Winnipeg team total of 30.5, the under intrigues me. Not just because the Bombers combined in two games have put up 25 total against the Argos. I just get... I just don't know the pathway to 30.5 unless they just run it deep. Here's my prediction, and I don't want to get too nerdy, but the first 20 Winnipeg plays, when you watch them, when they're basically scripted, I will suggest to you that not just the majority of those plays will be RPOs. I would tell you like 15 or so of the first 20 plays are going to be RPOs. What the run-pass option is going to do against the Toronto defense is just keep them off guard, because when they have to sell out on Oliveira, they have to. And then you have Dembski, and then you have Lawler.
A lot of weapons, yeah.
Right. So if you're going to sell out, suddenly man cover it. So that, to me, this game may very well be dictated early by how Toronto handles that RPO.
There you go, folks. It's too hard to say. Michael Remus is checking out the slide. I get that sense. Oh, it's a big line. Oh, get ahead of the line, man. You're from Winnipeg Sports Talk. Don't they know who you are? From the audience.
I like the ongoing chat in the YouTube window,
we do it all the time.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Jeff writes in, great show, and Arash is so knowledgeable. You fooled him again.
Fooled him again. Thank you, Jeff.
How about
that? Matt Hyman says, looks like security is on to Remo. You might have to distract her. Just saying. Are you able to stay for one more segment?
Sure.
Okay. Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg says, I think the CFL's decision was pretty simple when it chose TSN. It was worth more to lock in with TSN than go to piecemeal with a bunch of broadcasters. Yes, we know all that. We know why they did it. But in retrospect, was it the best? Because you have every other TV channel in Canada largely ignoring the CFL, except for Grey Cup week when Sportsnet sends a rash. And I miss Travis Lulay with you, by the way.
I know,
miss you.
me too.
We were talking about him the other day.
Yeah.
So we'll be back. We'll talk about coaching carousel, quarterback carousel, and more on Grey Cup week when we return. We're live from Grey Cup week in Vancouver here on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, live streaming on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men Without Hats. And Spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Event Center, Saturday, November 16th. Tickets on sale now at sastix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Sports fans, is your skincare starting rotation giving up big hits to wrinkles, age spots, and acne scars? Well, revitalize your self-care routine with Alaterra's all-natural lineup of nourishing products. Visit them at alaterra.com. Use promo code RP20 for 20% off your first order. They're California-based, but they'll ship all over North America, and great partners of ours. Done wonders with Jim Barker.
You got no wrinkles, Hoss.
That's why, Alaterra.
There you go.
No stress either. Sportsnet.
You mean South Florida living is, right.
I'll be watching the game probably with Matt DeBuck at Wings and Things in Fort Lauderdale Sunday night. As you said, you like the early start time?
I do.
But that's just because it's in the West.
Yeah.
If it was in the East, it would be a 6:30 kickoff,
That's right.
Yeah. The buzz. You've been around. You've been out and about more than me. The buzz is about the game, or it's about the quarterback carousel, like it is every year, right?
Yeah, I would say the buzz more is about what's going to happen in Edmonton as the first domino to fall.
Explain.
So if, for instance, Ed Hervey gets the GM job of the Elks, does Rick Campbell become his head coach? And would that then create a coaching vacancy here in Vancouver? Who will be the GM at Edmonton? Who will be the head coach in Edmonton? That has to kind of almost happen first before then everything else can kind of take shape in terms of where it's going to go.
That's a big domino, man.
It's a big domino. Like, Bobby Dice has another year left on his deal in Ottawa. They made the playoffs. I think he's safe. I think they're going to re-up Sean Burke as the GM there. I think it's going to be status quo in Montreal. The Red Blacks need a defensive coordinator. I think Toronto's going to be somewhat status quo. I suspect that Brent Monson, who's just let go in Calgary, will end up on Dinwiddie's staff. Who knows what's going on in Hamilton? Yeah, and what's Calgary going to do? They basically need to hire a special teams coach and a defensive coordinator. But once the Edmonton thing happens first, then everything else kind of falls suit from there.
And that's at the top. Jim Barker dropped the bomb here last hour. And you just mentioned it as well. Ed Hervey, are we believing that he's going, or that's just...
Don't know. My read on it was that in the last week or two, I've kind of lost track of time now.
Yeah.
They've interviewed about 6 people in Edmonton for the GM vacancy. That it's not just the new president, Chris Morris, involved, but that Rick Lawlesher, who's still an alternate governor, by the way, and pulling some puppet strings. Rick was involved in the interview process. So 6 likely becomes 2, likely becomes 1, in terms of how that process will unfold.
Just a note for our operators in Toronto at Game Plus and Atlanta at WQEE. We'll be going to an earlier break than scheduled because Arash needs to be out of here at 10:30 Pacific.
Got to go to practice.
1:30 Eastern. He's got to go to practice because he is on the front lines. I like this. You know what I mean? I don't need to be out on the front lines, but you like it, eh?
You know what'd be cool, and of course the coaches would never allow it to happen, especially with cameras, is to set this up at the top of the 100 section in the bowl at Grey Cup. Have, you know, whatever, 8 or 10.
Are you kidding? You think we haven't tried that?
Right. Right.
Who do you think shut that down?
Well, Mike O'Shea's paranoid.
No. It was a broadcast thing. It wasn't a football thing.
Even at practice week, huh? Oh, God.
Yeah.
But also Mike O'Shea's paranoid of everything.
It was...
And understandably, because I got a little sense that there may have been some Toronto staffers around the Winnipeg practice on Tuesday. Now, unlike our beloved national soccer teams, I didn't spot any drones, but I did spot personnel around.
How about that?
Espionage. I'm sure it was just a miscommunication, a misunderstanding.
Oh, yeah? Is that what you think it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
the Argos version of Connor Stallions was around, too.
We're broadcasting from the McLaren Custom Grills Radio Row, the only officially licensed CFL barbecue grills. To see and purchase the grills, go to McLarenCustomGrills.com. And this week only, you can use promo code CFL to get 10% off your McLaren Custom Grill. Do you want a little peek behind the broadcast curtain for a second? Because we've been talking football throughout. Obviously, we're at Grey Cup, but we were told, going back to Hamilton Grey Cup's past, the RP show not allowed on the property by the rights holder. The rights holder said that, the television rights holder. So whatever. Game Plus versus TSN. I don't really care. But at the World Juniors, we were there, and they tried to pull the same thing, TSN did, and Hockey Canada said, he's our guy. He's staying where he is. And we were able to overlook the rink. It was amazing at Rogers Place in Edmonton. But for whatever reason...
Why not grow the game, Mr. Pedersen? Why not grow the game?
The CFL didn't have that hammer that Hockey Canada did with the TSN, oddly enough. So you mentioned at the top, but quarterbacks. How do you feel about Vernon Adams? Looks like he won't be here. They can't have both again. So
what's old is new again. Leave it to the BC Lions every 20 years to completely mismanage a quarterback situation. 2004, the Dave Dickinson Casey Printers fiasco, and it was a fiasco. 20 years later, Vernon Adams and Nathan Rourke. It was VA's team. They bring in Rourke, expecting him to be the knight in shining armor. Wasn't. Creates a divide in the locker room. Creates questions. Creates a self-made distraction. They actually destroyed it from within. So what happens now? Like, what do you do if you're the BC Lions? Can you really sell Nathan Rourke after this just happened? I think they're going to roll with him, Rod. But suddenly VA just became a very sought-after option for a team.
And he was at the media night the other night. I'm not sure why he was there, but I'm glad he was. Players don't usually show up to that, do they?
Just depends on the guy.
Yeah, well, he did.
Well, Vernon knows. Vernon's going around.
He's politicking.
Yeah, sure he is. He's spreading the Vernon gospel.
He's a great guy, too.
See? Look. He's a hook, line, and sinker.
We had him in Sask. I know him. And so he's campaigning, is what you're saying. I like that.
Maintaining and campaigning.
But I'll leave you with this. I know you got to go. You get 2 minutes. This Amar Doman, one thing I know about owners, and you've been around them as much or more than me, they smile, They didn't get to be where they are by being the nice guys. Like, I feel heads will roll here. I don't think Amar Doman, the owner of the Lions, is real happy his team's not in it.
So I asked your pal Barker this before we came on air. Who was calling the shots on who the starting quarterback was going to be here? Was it the coach? Was it the GM? Was it the offensive coordinator? Was it the owner?
Do we know?
I don't know. But I wonder.
I'd love to know.
Yeah.
Well, that also, he wouldn't be the first owner to interfere on that side of the ball either, by the way.
Yeah.
Let the coaches coach. Rick Campbell's won how many Grey Cups as a head coach?
Yeah, Ottawa.
How many has Amar Doman won?
Speaking of Amar Doman, chef's kiss last night, him getting the Commissioner's Award, because my sources tell me that Doman was one of the owners who showed non-confidence towards Ambrosi.
So
very
CFL is.
It's very, very Canadian football.
Love it.
league.
Okay, my dude. I
Great to see
appreciate
you,
the
brother.
time, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. The great Arash Madani. Give him a follow on social media, @Arash Madani. Well, we're not arguing, man. Go Bombers. They're getting annoying, but that's okay. It's Grey Cup week. That's the way it's supposed to be. We're gonna go to that early break, and we'll be right back here live on Game Plus, WQEE Radio, live streaming on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult, because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Rick Regan. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hour 2 as we continue from the 111th Grey Cup Festival in Vancouver. Kevin the Medium has rejoined me here. You still don't have a prediction for the game?
No.
You said Argos, though, right?
That's a Kevin, the old man from HST.
Okay, not Kevin the Medium.
Kevin, you know Kevin the Medium doesn't play that game.
I know that. Allie, Let's just turn it over to the viewers for a while on the Yellow Terra Skincare text line. Allie is watching in Sherwood Park, and she says, Happy Grey Cup Friday. Really enjoying your shows from Vancouver. We will be watching the game on our television with friends from Monterrey, Mexico, who came to visit us. Have a great weekend. You have a great weekend, and cheer loud and wave that CFL flag. They talked about playing CFL games in Mexico at one time. I don't think that's going to happen.
Geez, that was years ago they talked about that, didn't they? That kind of flashed back in my head.
I was all for it.
So you talk about viewers commenting. We have viewers here. Sean from Vancouver came up. He took the day off work to come see us.
Well, you know what? Sean, come jump in here for a sec. Because we're just talking about, I want people to know he actually exists. Drop down to one knee. Sean from Vancouver, everybody. There you go. He's got the shirt. He's got the hats. Is there anybody you'd like to say hi to?
I'd like to say to my mom and dad, all my buddies, mom and dad, all my buddies back home. Caroline, hey, I made it.
There you go. Thanks, John. Appreciate you. Said we'd bring him on. We have at least one viewer in Vancouver.
At least one?
Yeah. No, we're very popular out here, believe it or not. More popular today than the Vancouver Canucks. They stunk it up last night,
I was waiting for you to bring this up. I was like, he's going to bring it up. I know he's going to bring it up.
I just did. I just went there.
It's one of those teams where you just don't know what you're going to get. I turned it off. I think they had like 7 shots on net, and that was the second period.
What
You're not going to win.
5-3? 5-2?
5-2 final.
Yeah. It was an interesting night in the National Hockey League. Believe me, I write about the NHL for the South Florida Tribune, host a Panthers and Lightning podcast, and the Jets lost in Tampa Bay. The Panthers got slapped around by New Jersey, and the Jets and Panthers meet Saturday night in Sunrise. I can't believe I'm going to miss it, but you know what? If it works out that you and I are watching Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks at the Vancouver Canucks, I'll be okay with it.
It'll be the second time, if it happens, it'll be the second time this year that I get to see Connor Bedard. I got to see him in Calgary, so.
How about that? Didn't he score twice in that game?
No, he didn't score. They kept him off. They actually kept him off the scoreboard.
Okay. Sharon writes in, and she says, Riders by 10. God bless those Rider fans. Should we tell her that they're not playing, or?
No.
Okay. Just let her have her fun.
She's into the wine early this morning.
Kirk in Toronto says, my pick for the next CFL commissioner would be Neil Lumsden. Probably would be the best.
You know what? That's the second time I've heard that name pop up today, and I can't disagree. He's got the name. He's got the pedigree, I'll say.
I'll tell you what, played in the CFL, was an outstanding Edmonton Eskimos fullback on the 5-in-a-row team. Now, I don't know, was an MP. I don't know if he still is or not in the Southern Ontario. I know for a fact, because I've heard from people around Neil Lumsden, he's a fan of this show. He's a fan of me, because they've told me. So that's good. But so too is Mike Morreale. I'll be honest with you. Morreale's got the sizzle, man. He's a receiver. He's a 2-time Grey Cup. I'm tight with Morreale.
But Lumsden does that, what do they call it? The bobsledding now.
That's Jesse. That's his kid.
Okay.
Old man Hughes.
Well, you know.
Stick with me. I know everything. Just call me Google.
The Google of the CFL. That's my new nickname for you.
John Frenzy. Okay. I said 10:40. Reed Johnson. I said, you're welcome here till Reed shows up. And now he's
So you're kicking my butt out of the chair. That's what you're saying. Okay, fine.
Thank you. You did a great job, Kev. Reed Johnson, we're doing this on the fly, man. It's a line change. It's a line change. Reed Johnson is here from Seattle. He is by far the biggest Seattle Kraken fan I know. He's also the only Seattle Kraken fan. Move on up here, Reed.
I'm here.
Speed Reed Johnson from the Markcast. Brother, it's great to see you, man.
It's good to see you, but now my mother told me never to show up anywhere empty-handed. Now, Rod, I have had this for 3 years for you.
Stop it.
I wanted to give this to you in person.
It's happening. It's happening.
I've held this. I brought this up here. This is Jordan Eberle, now Captain Jordan Eberle, but this is a prized item. This is his hat trick bobblehead, first hat trick in Kraken history. That's for you. I hope you enjoy that. I've had that 3 years for you. I want to give it to you in person. We mailed you hats years ago. You're like, oh, we got them. You put them on the wall somewhere. I wanted to be here because that's a prize item.
Ladies and you know, my heart just went up here. It's bouncing off the top of my rib cage. I'd kiss you if it wasn't going to be weird.
That's okay.
And you're okay that I don't.
But enjoy that.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, of course.
Producer Clark's like, kiss him. No. We get knocked off the air for that.
Now
he might leave.
Now, we did beat Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks last night, so that makes up for it.
Up and down year for the Kraken, as they all seem to be, right?
Yes.
You got your Huskies thing on?
Commanders.
Commanders.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Not the Washington Huskies. I was close, though.
Yeah, it is.
How many people thought that was Winnipeg?
I've had a couple.
Yeah.
I don't like Winnipeg, but that's okay.
Okay, Reed Johnson from the Markcast out of Seattle. Let's walk this back. I mean, I feel like everybody knows who you are.
That's okay. Yes.
They do. The hardcores know who you are, but he has this podcast out of Seattle. True or not, America's leading #1 alternative football podcast. Do you still say that?
Yeah, we call it America's premier CFL podcast.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. So it's an interesting story that I don't really know the answer to. You kind of flirted around when you got into the CFL, trying to pick a team.
Yeah.
And the team you settled on isn't the team you started with.
No.
How did that go?
Well, so I'm a Washington Commanders fan. At the time, they were the Washington football team. And Dave Campbell, Soupy Dave, I think you call him, was the first CFL guest we ever had on the show. And I go, hey, Edmonton football team, same like Washington. They don't have a name right now. They were going through the rebrand. I go, I like that. Let me jump in on that. And then they stunk and they were terrible. And then I think someone from the Edmonton was like, we hate the XFL. We don't want to deal. Anyway, there was a lot of issues there. So then I go, it makes more sense.
It wasn't smooth.
It makes more sense for me to be a BC Lions fan. And they have been great. We have a spot here tomorrow. We'll be here doing the show. But the Lions have been much nicer to me than the Edmonton Elks have been.
You know, very regional fit.
Yeah.
Because he's in Seattle. But I'm going to tell you something. From a jersey thing, and you're big into apparel. #1 since I was a little kid's Toronto Argonauts. I'm a sucker for double blue. I almost wore it today. That's how much I love it. But as a franchise, the BC Lions I've loved. Even when I was in the league playing against them, their game day atmosphere is fantastic, right?
It's fun. We just came up here for the Montreal game.
Yeah,
weeks ago.
they treat. Well, how was that? Because it was a blowout, right? How was the crowd?
It was good. I mean, Mar Doman got that award last night, right? I mean, talk about revitalizing a community here. I mean, it's been really exciting to see. We came for the Winnipeg game last year where it was contention for first in the West. We came this year, really exciting. I mean, talk about, you know, God, I walked under the zip lines, everything coming in here. I think I saw Randy Ambrosie getting zipped in to do the zip line. Like, there's a lot of
cable
activity.
isn't strong enough.
Well, he's a big man. He's large.
There is not a cable strong enough to support Randy Ambrosie. And I'm not saying he's fat.
He's a large
man. Yeah. That's why I've been very nice to him. I'm not afraid of him. But I wouldn't want to piss him off either. That's something that Arash, your boy, did you and Arash cross paths here?
I haven't seen him yet. But
I just missed him, dude.
Well, I texted him. I said, you need to stop making this Nick Arbuckle thing be a thing. Like, he's trying to make it be like, oh, this underdog. And, you know,
That's what he does.
I know, but I'm like, this is, spoiler alert, this game's going up against Chiefs-Bills on Sunday. I hope the Grey Cup does well. I mean, we're here, but this has been, it's an interesting lineup that they got here Sunday.
9.5 this morning.
I think it's going to be a blowout.
That would be unfortunate for the CFL. How do you feel about that?
I don't think it's good. I think it's kind of a disaster right now. I was watching the game on CFL Plus. I have lots of thoughts about that. Cleaning out my kitchen sink drain on last Saturday. I stick my head out. Chad Kelly's down. His ankle has fallen over. I go, holy God. Changes the perspective of a lot of things.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a good story. I mean, imagine if Nick Arbuckle, who, by the way, according to Arash, I didn't know this will be his 25th start. Like, that's not a rube. You know, a raw rookie.
Yeah, but
you still don't think he hasn't got a chance?
No, I mean, I was talking to the guys last night in the suite. Like, I don't know why you don't go with Cameron Dukes. I mean, obviously they've had, they have thoughts and a lot smarter than you or I are. But
he's had his shot.
Yeah, it just feels like it's interesting.
Yep. Yeah. Your thoughts on the tenure of Randy Ambrosie, because you came into this CFL thing in the meat of his tenure.
Yeah.
2020?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the global thing is a failure, right? It didn't work out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that anyone from Germany is going to watch the CFL because they have a kicker or a special teams returner or whatever else and that. I don't know what else they expect to get, right? I mean, we were talking again last night in the suite. You bring in someone else, are you hoping for like what is the Board of Governors wanting to succeed from that, right? Do we want a 10th team? I know Dave Naylor, I just saw him walking by, we want a team in St. Louis. Like, I don't think that's happening. So I don't know realistically what you want from the next commissioner of this league that Randy wasn't doing. I mean, I think we've talked, and everyone, you don't have that same level of control like a Roger Goodell has, right? It's a total different power swap here with the CFL. And I don't know, if I'm the Board of Governors, I don't know what I'm expecting from someone else.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, Reed. They better figure it out fast.
Yeah.
And I'm serious. Like, if you don't know, you'd better figure it out.
Yeah.
Because the job's now open because you guys, CFL owners, created the opening. So with you say, what didn't he do? He kept the league, he barely kept the league alive. I think the owners kept the league alive by digging deep into their pockets, or else this league would have folded. I'm not joking. Expansion would be nice, but that didn't happen under his watch. And I like the guy.
Yeah.
I'm not like Arash sitting there hammering on him.
Arash has something going on against Randy. I mean, you want to talk about feuds and stuff. I mean, it's clear that he's got...
It's personal.
It is personal, and that's fine. Randy's been on the show a bunch with us. They've always been great. I have a lot of respect for Lucas and everyone over there. I thought the last time Randy was on talking about his, what do you want your legacy to be? Because at that point, it kind of felt like...
What did he say?
He said that, and I thought it was very heartfelt. He said, I want people to know that I woke up every day wanting to do my best, that I'm a fan of this league and I want to support. And I believe all that. That's what I'm saying. I don't know, you bring in someone else, right? You promote, I don't know, Farhan to be the commissioner of the league. I see him walking by here.
He'd love that.
Yeah, but what do you want out of, I just think you're so hamstrung right now, and I think that you're really, the CFL's not stuck. What is it? The commercials on CFL Plus call it Alive and Thriving, and I think that's what I hear a lot on my CFL Plus in America. But it's in a tricky situation right now.
I'll tell you when we break what Arash's deal is with him. I can't say it on here, but I'll tell you why. I will tell you, though, because I know you want to know and you deserve to know, but I don't want to air his laundry on you guys on national television. Been there before. They're not making money to the degree that the owners would like.
No.
And that's why.
Yeah.
Why he's gone. So whoever that next guy, and just so you know, folks, how did these other leagues go from here to here financially? By expansion. Ask the NHL.
Yeah.
But that's where the CFL's going, I believe.
Well, and what really, honestly, what makes me mad as an American is they have the media stuff, right, on Monday or Tuesday with Randy, right? And they're talking about CFL Plus in America. And he goes, it's working. It's a success. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Nobody in America knows the CFL is going at all. There's nothing. And you have, and like I tweeted out, all due respect to all the media here and all the Canadian media, Farhan and Dave and everyone else, you don't live in America and work through all this stuff. I can tell you it's not working. I can tell you the CFL has no visibility at all. At least with ESPN, there was a snowball's hell and chance that you would stumble
see it on your guide,
on the thing where I got to go, it is great, it's free, whatever, I'm on my phone, I got to stream it to my TV. It's not the same thing. And so when he's sitting there and he's saying this is success, I want to say, have you ever used this in America? I don't think you have. And you're asking all these people here that don't use it, and they're all, oh yeah, it must be working because Randy says it's working. And
Right. Well, the fans, a lot of them watching right now, think it's a football league, the CFL. They think the NFL is a football league. Arash clarified it an hour or 40 minutes ago. These are entertainment corporations, the leagues, that happen to play football or hockey or basketball. And I was at a dinner party last Sunday in Deerfield Beach, Florida, and the guys that I was with are like, I don't ever hear anything about the CFL anymore.
No.
And I'm like, well, number one, that's not my job to make you, so whatever. And number two, it's you just explained why that is. It's not visible.
No.
And the thing is, I would like to take people at their word, and Randy says things that I know he doesn't believe, but I think probably every commissioner does. You know what I mean?
So, and like I said, and then you have a room of people that don't use it, and so it's like we might as well be talking about a mission in Mars. Like you know what I mean? Like the level of connection between the media at the thing on Tuesday here, talking about American TV. Even Naylor, we were talking. He's like, well, I don't know what the viewership is in America. I'm like, then you can't talk about this working. Again, all respect for everybody, but there's absolutely no visibility. They don't even run ads on the CFL Plus in America. They don't even run ads.
They haven't sold them. Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay, dude. I got to roll, but tell folks about your live show tomorrow, please.
Yeah, we'll be live here 2 to 4. We got everyone. Rod's coming on. I think we're trying to get Naylor. We got Brian Scott with the Argos coming on. We have a lot of people. 2 to 4. It should be awesome here on YouTube. The Mark.
Well, I can't wait. And by the way, those that know me well, and I feel you're one, know how much this means to me. So thank you again. A Jordan Eberle bobblehead he's been waiting 3 years to give me. We'll put a wrap on Grey Cup week from the festival next with Kevin the Medium here in overtime. We're live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, live streaming on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 902 518 3033. 902 518 3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902 518 3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Okay, here it is, everybody. Overtime's brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Hockey teams and fans, have you been there yet to OT Hockey Lanes? Kevin and I have. I almost killed him there once. Coming right up, buddy. Oh, look at this. Okay, you can come in. Come on in. He says, with state-of-the-art equipment, spacious shooting lanes and games for all ages, Overtime Hockey Lanes is the perfect place for you or your team. Check him out and book your lane today. Come on down. Drop to your knee. This is Wayne. He doesn't like my Stampeders cowbell, so look what he brought. Wayne, come on in here. What do you got there?
We're number one.
We're number one. What's your prediction for the Grey Cup? Who's going to win, Wayne?
I think Bombers by at least 14.
14 points. Very confident. Very confident. And you love the RP show, Wayne?
I always watch it daily on
that.
Game Plus Network. Right here in BC.
What can I buy you?
Right here in, I live in Gibsons, BC.
Gibson's, isn't that where the Beachcombers?
Yes. Just call me Relic.
I feel like he should have his own show.
That's awesome.
Wayne, thank you for the support, man. And I'd like to keep. Thank you, man.
We love the Rod Squad.
He said, thank you, bro. I'd like to keep those, but you're going to need them.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you so much. This is Wayne, Rider Chick, Gibson, BC, Bomber fan. I feel like he's a confused individual.
Did you just call him Rider Chick?
No, his Twitter is Wayne Rider Chick.
I'm not going to ask.
Yeah, we don't have time to get into it.
We don't have time.
He did explain it to me. I still don't really understand, but that's okay. We have Craig Campbell here from the Hockey Hall of Fame, standing 30 feet away from me, which is exciting. He's another regular viewer of the RP show. And
he is.
Yeah,
he got me into the Hockey Hall of Fame 2 summers ago.
He's written in, great show as always. He spells it Grey as in Grey Cup. Get it? Even better, seeing it live.
Yes.
All these fans would say. So
there's a ton here.
Kevin's learning a lot. We've been close friends for a few years now.
Yes.
I love the fact that we're off air at 11 a.m. Eastern, or Pacific. We're done. Because these fans drive me crazy. And a lot of it is these. Here's Zach from Calgary, everybody. You think you can hide? Jim, we have 3 viewers. Look, show them your. See? We have 3. This Bomber fan comes up to me. You heard him.
I heard him.
He goes, you were the Rider guy, right? I'm like, yeah. Well, you're no Bob Irving. That's what he said.
You're no Bob Irving.
I'm like, I know that. I'm fully. You didn't hear him, Remo?
That's awesome.
The Hall of Fame voice of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The pride of Lestock, Saskatchewan, I might add. But Bob Irving.
But that Blue Bomber
He's still
fan.
laughing, Remo.
That Blue Bomber fan did remember something you said.
Tell him.
Yeah, apparently, I didn't hear it, but Rod said the Blue Bomber fans are the best fans in the CFL.
I didn't say that. Best sports fans in Canada.
Well, that's the same thing.
No, it's not.
How can you say that about a Rider fan? I mean, everybody knows. I'm not even a Rider fan. I'm wearing orange, for Pete's sake. Rider fan is the best fan.
I'm not sure why I said that. Might have been when I was drinking, which reminds me.
Oh.
That's why I drank so much at these Grey Cups. My God, these people are driving me nuts. These kids are crawling all over us, kicking stuff over. He's comparing me to Bob Irving. By the way, you remember Brendan Taman? The former general manager of the Blue Bombers, Saskatchewan Roughriders?
Yes.
Now he's with the Ottawa Redblacks. His first day on the job in Saskatchewan, I'm in his office as the voice of the Riders. And he goes, well, you're good, but you're no Bob Irving. He had just come from Winnipeg. And you know what I said? You're good, but you're no Eric Tillman.
Ouch.
I can't stop. I can't help myself. I'm better now. It just comes out.
You're better now?
But
I would hate to see you back then.
I'm way better now. Are you kidding me?
You have no filter.
As my friends in Florida say, though, that's why you have a show. So I guess.
It is.
We have been broadcasting Grey Cup week from the McLaren Custom Grills Radio Row, the only official license. Come on in, Zach. What the hell? He's milling around. The only licensed CFL. Come on in. Zach from Calgary has made it, everybody. Big Stampeders fan, if you can believe. And obviously an RP Show fan, too. Great guy. Kevin the Mediums. Yeah. Any last words? We have like 30 seconds. Yeah.
Go Argos? Oh, that hurt coming out.
Never bet against pinball.
Never.
That's what I've learned. Never bet against pinball. It's been a great week. Great job, Clark, producer Tuna, and every director Tuna. Yeah, we're coming apart of the seams. The kids are here. It's Bedlam at Grey Cup. There's still time for you to get down here, everybody. I'll talk to you Monday from Florida. Hustler.
How about that?